The world as we know it has changed. AI is here, and it's here to stay. In November of 2022, ChatGPT went live to the public. ChatGPT stands for Chat Generative Performance Transformer, or in layman's terms, a robot that you can chat to. So what's unique about ChatGPT? Well, for starters, how fast it has exploded is uncanny. ChatGPT went from 0 users to 1 million users in 5 days. To give you a bit of perspective, Facebook took 2 years. Instagram took 2 years. Twitch took 2 years. Reddit took 1 year. Pinterest took just 6 months. And the popular game Fortnite took just 2 weeks. So, a little fun fact, all of those stats came from ChatGPT. So the great debate is really, do we fear or do we embrace AI? After all, we've all seen the doomsday movies with AI taking over and killing the whole of mankind.
I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years.
But the simple fact is, from a lifestyle perspective, from a business perspective, and from a holistic everything perspective, AI is going to be the most disruptive thing that we will see in our lifetimes, I believe. Now, let's just have a quick little look at some of the interesting things that have happened recently with AI, without doing too much of a deep dive. So, you may have seen that there's a company, Do Not Pay. Now, they're a legal entity using AI. There is a first case coming up shortly, which is using a defendant who will be using AI technology to basically plead his case. Now, it's a bit of a misdemeanor. It's only a speeding fine, but he will be using an earpiece, phone in the pocket, AI listening to the conversation, listening to the arguments back and forth, and is able to actually prompt the defendant on what to say to plead their case. Now, is that legal? Well, it's a grey area again. Nonetheless, there's been over 2 million cases that Do Not Pay has had customers use their program, use their services for minor things like parking fines, speeding fines, and minor misdemeanors like using Wi-Fi on an aeroplane and it wasn't working, for instance. Now, you've probably heard of a company called Canva. Great for digital creation, content creation and so forth. Canva has just introduced a brand new tool which again uses AI technology. So here's a little look at one I used. So in this example, I've decided I'm going to throw a dragon playing a piano. Now AI is going to interpret my information and create, well, just that, a dragon playing a piano. Now let's throw back to AI just for a moment. AI at its core is typically a machine that is capable of performing tasks that, generally speaking, require human intelligence. So problem solving, learning, decision making, interpretation, and being able to see and hear. And what ChatGPT has been able to do is find a way for us to integrate and interact with AI in a medium that we feel really comfortable with, chat. So what exactly can I use ChatGPT for? How can it help me? Well, essentially anything. Any question you ask, it can perform and provide a response to. So maybe a nutrition plan, maybe a new exercise plan, maybe a business plan, I don't know, sales and marketing scripts. Maybe you want to write a book. You can give it the prompts and it can write you an actual book. Maybe you want to write your first children's book. It can help you do that and it can write the entire book for you. So the list is literally endless. Whatever you can think of, you can ask it. But maybe it's business, as I just said, or maybe you're thinking about something a little bit more sinister. And that's where there's a little bit of a grey area about what's what. I don't know, how to potentially destroy the world? Do we really want people to be able to know that information or access that information easily? So that brings up the critical question. How is it going to be regulated? Who are the powers to be who are going to be able to decide what potential information is given and what potential information is not? Where's that regulation performed? And who are the decision makers? So we can see that AI can read, we can see that it can write, and we can see that it can create visuals using the information that we provide. But what about sound? And then what about when those three integrate together? What happens then? I firsthand have actually seen Sophia from Handsome Robotics when I was in Hong Kong a few years ago. Now we're really only on the first iteration of this technology. And much like phone technology, which progresses year on year and just gets better and better to provide more information on our devices, AI will continue to grow, expand, be able to provide more information, more data, and more solutions to help us. The concerning factor, I guess, is at what point does that AI actually know us better than we know ourselves? Now, I totally get it sounds a little bit tinfoil hat of me, but stay with me for this for a minute. Neuralink is being discussed. Tesla bot is being discussed. Sophia is a real thing. Hypothetically, let's say in my business that I use AI for the next few years. Now, it will listen to every conversation that I have, whether that's booking a client, whether that's a sales call, whether that's a dispute resolution, whether that's talking to my wife, whether that's talking to my kids. The AI will be listening to every one of those conversations, understanding, learning, growing. Therefore, it will be able to kind of take over a few of those roles for me moving forward. It will see my emails, it will write some of my emails, and then it will be able to interact with my customers and new customers as me. In essence, it's going to know me as well as I know me, or potentially better. So let's fast forward 10 years. Now, this is not just AI, but it's a robot. It looks just like me. It sounds just like me. It interacts just like me. What part of that isn't me at that point in time? Now, side note, have you noticed how realistically those sex dolls are these days? Pretty unreal. I think there's even a bloke who married one a couple of years ago. I think he also divorced her as well, but nonetheless, married a sex doll, divorced a sex doll. Very realistic looking. I digress. So will AI change life as we know it? Yes, it will. Unlike the introduction of phones and internet, which sort of re-pivoted the workforce, AI has the capabilities and the technological advancement opportunities to literally, well, eradicate the human workforce. So just for a moment, imagine having a robot working for you in your industry, whatever that is. It is built to perform those tasks that you address perfectly. It doesn't need a smoker break. It doesn't have a lunch break. It's happy to work on public holidays. It's happy to work after hours. It doesn't require extra pay. It doesn't have sick days. It doesn't have conflict with other staff members. It doesn't have issues at home that then kind of get brought into work. It can potentially and quite literally be able to work more effectively, more efficiently, and with a higher level of productivity than a human. And it continues to learn. That is, until we get to the point of superintelligence. And superintelligence, by definition, is when AI is smarter than every human being on Earth. And we have the potential to progress to the point where you're on a phone call and you ask the operator, are you a person? And they say, no, I'm AI. And you're actually happy and relieved because you know that the AI is going to be able to perform that question, task, or query better than a human being. And as we progress down that path, that's where we get towards technological singularity. And this is where we actually get to the point where the technological growth is actually uncontrollable and irreversible. Reminds me a little bit like iRobot, where the robot becomes self-aware. It's able to kind of infringe on the rules that have been given to it by the humans, and it's able to proceed to do as it wishes and as it chooses, and ignore what kind of rules and boundaries were put in place for it. But this doesn't mean that AI is just going to kill all the humans as soon as it reaches super intelligence. At that point, why would it need to? Why would it want to? But are we going to see AI take human jobs? Absolutely. Are we going to see AI kill people? Absolutely. I think it was only yesterday or the day before that I saw a Tesla that was on self-driving mode on a freeway, just came to a halt, creating a 9-car pileup or something along those lines. So which areas are we going to see AI incepted into first? Well, we're already seeing a little bit of it when it comes to customer service. And Google has shown us little snippets of their AI. Now this is from a few years ago. I don't think they've released anything of late, but a few years ago they had a little interaction between AI and a customer service representative trying to book a hairdressing appointment. But just imagine, customer service 24 hours a day, live and available to take bookings and to adjust anything that you need. Super handy, right? As I showed earlier, content creation is another one. So if AI can create my dragon playing the piano, can it create a cool little logo for a business or something along those lines for me? Absolutely it can. Quillbot is another example that's doing some content creation. So copyright, putting all that copy in there, throwing it into the system, AI regenerates it and spits out some fantastic copyright. There's a huge amount of companies that are starting to jump on this. And how about the legal system? Obviously there's been over 2 million cases already on smaller things, but how does that progress? When is it that the lawyers start using AI because it speeds up their process and is actually more effective for them to be using an AI generator to give them the general kind of basis for their information that they can then take to court? That's super, super effective for them. The amount of time required to create all that legal documentation could be reduced by 10x, could be reduced significantly. It would be amazing for them. Another big one is the medical field. Now, are you happy to just go to one doctor? Or what about if you went to the AI doctor who can look at the data of 10,000, 100,000, a million different doctors, look at all their research and data, look at all the different photos and assess your criteria perfectly? Do you want the brains of one doctor or 10,000 plus? Another big question. And obviously with the technology, they can look at imagery, so photos, videos, and they can analyze that data and give you a perfect response to what you need. So it begs the question a little bit as to whether or not you'd want to use a human or you'd want to use AI technology instead. So a little bit of my food for thought. I think the next few years are going to be very interesting. I think we're going to see a lot more almost fake content. There's going to be a lot more artificial content creation, a lot more artificial copy, a lot more artificial sales basis. And it's going to be a little bit difficult to work out what's real and what's not real, who's real and who's not real. So do you embrace it or do you fear it? The other topic we'll talk about, just kidding, we won't talk about it now, is deepfake. And that kind of brings back to what I was saying about the artificial side, what's real and what's not. Deepfake is another thing to look into, but we'll leave that for another day. Take care, everybody. Hope you found that a little bit interesting. I certainly find the whole industry and the whole growth that's happening right now to be quite interesting, so I hope you did too. Take care.